Muted. So Jason, you can get started.
I was waiting for Donna to do the
Oh,
League of
Donna,
Women
you can
Voters.
get
So.
started.
Okay, very good. Can you see me though?
Mhm.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you all for coming. It's our honor to host this forum this evening. I'm Donna Johnson, co-vice president of the League of Women Voters of Cortland County. While we represent Cortland County, there are 39 other leagues around New York State that together make up our state league. The U.S. League is made up of leagues in all 50 states. We are a nonpartisan organization, and we do not support any political party or candidate. That said, we do recognize that voting is a fundamental to be a healthy democracy. We advocate for voting rights and encourage individuals to become actively engaged in their government. That process starts with voting, and we believe that one of the barriers to voting is the lack of information. So this year, we have utilized the League's award-winning voter guide system and populated the guide with information on all 63 races in Cortland County. You can access this guide by going to vote411.org and simply put in your address, answer a question or two, and a personalized ballot will appear. Our goal is to provide information to the public so that individuals feel informed and empowered to vote. This forum also, this forum is also designed to inform and empower the public. We will record this forum and it will be available on our YouTube channel. And with that, I introduce our moderator for this evening's forum, Dr. Jason Page, our assistant professor at SUNY Cortland with over 20 years of experience in education and human services. Take it away, Jason. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Donna, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's forum. We will be spending the evening with the candidates for the Preble Town Supervisor. Here is how the forum will work. Each candidate will be given an opportunity to offer a 2-minute opening statement. Following that, there will be 13 questions, with each candidate getting 1 minute to answer. Once we have gone through all 13 questions, each candidate will then get a further 2 minutes to offer a closing statement. And that will bring us to an end to this forum. So with that being said, we are going to move on to our opening statements. And we are going to start with James. So James, when you are ready, you may offer your opening statement.
Hi, you can call me Jim.
Oh, sorry, Jim.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to, first of all, thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this event. And I also want to thank the Preble Democrats for nominating me for supervisor for the election in November. A little bit of background on me. I attended Clemson University, SUNY Oswego, and I got an MBA from Chapman University. I bicycled across the United States and visited many foreign countries over the years, and I did that because I like to see how and observe how people live in different places. My career started in printing sales, and after a number of years in that, I started my own business. Later on, I switched careers to investment advisor. I worked for A.G. Edwards in DeWitt, and then later on, I started my own business in that field also. And while working in my own business in that field, I ran for town board twice and I lost. And I ran a third time and then I won the seat on the town board. And then 2 years after that, I was elected for town supervisor, which I've been town supervisor for 16 years. I came to Preble as a result of marriage, of marrying somebody in the area. And I don't have any family in this area anymore. I don't have any high school chums here. I don't have any other property other than my 1 acre of land, my organic garden, my dog, and my current wife. So I don't have any other influences in the area to push projects to, or to place people in positions of any kind. I'm very objective to what I've done over the past 16 years. And I've lived here in Preble for 27 years, and they still call me a newcomer.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, our second candidate this evening is Nate Shirley. And Nate, when you're ready, I will start your timer.
Thank you. Good evening. Thanks to the League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's forum. My name is Nate Shirley, and I'm proud to represent the Preble United team, a group committed to transparency and smart governance for all the residents of our town. I'm a lifelong resident of Preble. My family has been here since the 1800s. I'm a small business owner. I own Critter Ritter's Pest Control. I'm a retired Syracuse firefighter. I was a lieutenant, retired 5 years ago. I'm a Marine combat veteran. I'm married, and my stepdaughter Robin and Debbie and I live on Song Lake. I believe Preble has untapped potential. After 16 years of empty promises, I think it's time for a change. I think the past few years, we've seen decisions made behind closed doors to benefit a small but very vocal group of Song Lake elites instead of what's best for the entire community. The short-term rental ban is just one example. And they've made the claim that short-term rentals are bad for the town, but they only banned them for lake residents. They only banned it in the Lake District. The town spent $50,000 of taxpayer money defending that flawed law, money that could have been used to improve roads, strengthen our fire department, and enhance town services. Even worse, this one issue has monopolized 2 years of the town's time that could have been spent addressing the needs that actually affect all of us. Most importantly, planning for the sales tax shortfall that will affect all Preble homeowners. Instead, we've watched meeting after meeting consumed by a single topic, and even heard outlandish accusations about short-term rentals from Dan Clausen, who's running with Jim, that border on slander. I don't believe that's leadership. It's not respectful discourse. Just this week, our current supervisor Jim was asked a simple question.
Thank you, Nate.
Is that up? Time's up already?
Time's
Wow.
up. Yep.
I'm too slow.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both. We're going to move on to question 1. And our first question of this forum is, what are the 2 most important issues that your town faces today, and how would you address those? And Nate, we are going to start with you.
I think the sales tax cliff is coming, and we need to grow. The last thing I want to do is raise taxes on anyone, and the sales tax share from the county is going to drop from, I think it's 27.12 to 24.6, and I'm not sure exactly how much money that means, but I think that we need some reasonable growth to broaden the tax base, increase investment in our commercial corridor, and to avoid raising property taxes on everybody. The population of Preble has been dropping for decades, and we've got to figure out how to reverse that.
Okay. Thank you, Nate. Chip, over to you.
Okay, the 2 most important issues in Preble. One, obviously, is the sales tax distribution that the county is putting forth as a new plan over 5 years. The first 2 years is going to be somewhat mild as far as the reduction in sales tax. The last 3 years are going to be a lot steeper. So we have maybe 2 years to prepare for a drastic reduction in sales tax. I asked our county legislator, why didn't the county just simply raise taxes on the county line item instead of doing all of this with the sales tax? And he really couldn't answer my question. And he talked a lot about a lot of things, but he didn't answer that question. So we're going to have to do what we can to attract business into Preble that is adequate. And we're going to have to keep a close eye on the budget also.
Thank you both. I'm going to move on to question 2. And question 2 is, could you please describe your decision-making process and what role does the public play in it? And Jim, you'll take this one first.
Well, decision-making process is it's quite methodical, actually. The first thing we do when there's something proposed to the town board, we usually have some kind of a public hearing. We listen to both sides of an issue. We listen to the public, anybody from the public that wants to show up, and then we look at our town documents. We look at the town zoning code, and we look at the budget, and we look at other documents that the town has, and so that's what we do. We go to the trunk of the tree, and we look up to see whether something is in the comprehensive plan, whether it's compatible with the comprehensive plan, if it's compatible with the zoning code, and we go from there. So that's the process of what we do. And then, of course, we vote on it. We have 5 votes, and the vote will come through as far as the town board.
Great. Thank you, Jim. Nate, over to you.
Yeah, my decision-making process, I usually have a pretty good feel where I'm going to come down on something based on my principles. And generally it's smaller government, it's more freedom, maximum freedom consistent with law and order is age-old philosophy that guides me. But I always listen to as much input as I can. I always say, if you got a great idea, I'm happy to steal it. So I would say that taking into account the public hearings and I mean, Jim, you didn't do that when you ignored the petitions on the STR issue, and you ignored the surveys that clearly indicated that the town didn't want that law. They didn't want it. And
Thank you, Nate.
instead, you made that decision on a couple people's behalf on the lake. Thank you.
Okay, question 3. What would you like to say about short-term rentals and the current lawsuit? And Nate, you're up first.
Anybody that wants the full picture of this, the 29-page decision from Judge Burns is scathing in its criticism of the town's actions. I have several bullet points, but they didn't do seeker properly. They overruled they were supposed to have a super majority to implement something that it was against what the county recommended. The meeting, there was a special meeting called after they said that they were gonna, that the law was defeated. Then they called a special meeting at 2:00 on a Monday when most meetings are at 7:00 on Monday. And then was fascinating. The fascinating part about this special meeting was in the public comment period after they agreed to pass it, after they agreed to ignore that after they were poorly advised that they didn't need a super majority. They passed the time's up already. Are you kidding me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll come back to it.
Thank you, Nate. Okay, James, over to you. Sorry, Jim, over to you.
Yes. So what I found very interesting about this whole thing was Judge Elizabeth Burns did not focus on whether short-term rentals were legal. She didn't seem to read the zoning code. She didn't seem to be interested in that at all. All she was interested in was going out on a branch and a twig and talking about, we didn't fill out the seeker, which is the environmental review form. We didn't fill that out to her specifications and her desires. So, I think she missed the whole thing. I think she missed the whole trunk of the tree, and she went out on a limb and a twig. And I just didn't, I didn't see the logic in a lot of what she came back with.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Question 4. How do you plan on compensating for the reduction of county sales tax dollars? And Jim, you are first up with this question.
Well, first of all, the town of Preble has a very tight budget. We are very frugal with our budget. We consider the taxpayer in everything that we do. In fact, you can go to Syracuse.com and you can Google Syracuse.com Central New York towns with the lowest tax rates for 2024. And lo and behold, Preble is in that list. We are the 4th lowest tax rate in Central New York, not Cortland County, but all of Central New York. And so we made the papers in that respect. And this came out in August. And this is an example of our frugality with our budget. And so we will continue to do that. We will try to attract business and opportunities for investment in the town also.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Nate, over to you.
Very quickly, we need to broaden the tax base for sure. And I mentioned that already. I do want to come back to the STR thing briefly because this is important. When they had the special meeting at 2:00 on a Monday and they passed the law, 10 Song Lake residents got up with prepared remarks. It was almost like they knew what was going to happen. There was a backroom deal made to benefit 8 people on the lake. That is not to the benefit of the entire town. And that is what they've been focused on for 2 years. I know I was answering the last question. I've already answered this question in previous statements. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, question 5. The population in Preble is aging. How will you attract younger people to Preble? And Nate, you start this one.
One of the biggest frustrations I hear when I talk to retired people is that their children and their grandchildren live in other states or other areas. And there's not a lot of good options to keep them here. And that's why there is a finite amount of time that the town board has. It's generally as a once a month that they're meeting, and they monopolized all of their time for the last 2 years on this STR issue, and to the detriment of growing the town, attracting new investment, catering to our location. We have everything. We have the infrastructure. We have 81. We've got ski resorts. We have lakes. We have everything to gain. Do I want to lose our rural character? Absolutely not. That's not what I don't want to turn into Cicero. That's not what I'm talking about. But there is a way to grow. We can have both. We can have both. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Jim, to you, sir.
Yes, decades ago, the Preble Park was filled with all kinds of activity. It was filled with softball leagues. It was filled with volleyball teams playing volleyball in the evening. There was all kinds of activity. And we're going back to maybe the 70s and the 80s and also back in the 60s. That was the case. But over time, the amount of children disappeared. It dropped. The amount of population dropped. We really do need some new housing in Preble. And there is spot housing that is being done where an old building may be deteriorated and it's torn down. Maybe a new house is built there. There are lots available for doing that. But to attract a lot of young people, we need housing. Preble is between Syracuse and Cortland. It should be a good place to raise a family, but I think the cost of building new construction is going to be a problem.
Thank you, Jim. Question 6. Preble's lakes are part of what makes it special. How do you propose to protect and maintain them? And Jim, you are first with this question.
Well, every lake has a lake association, which they keep a close eye on the quality of the water of that lake. They monitor that. They bring in DEC, they bring in ESF for testing and for water quality tests. That's the main thing. Also education of how to treat your lawn. Instead of putting a lot of nitrogen down to get a thick lawn, people can be educated to put less fertilizer on their lawns, use certain laundry detergents and soaps that are environmentally friendly, because all of that goes into the lake. Also septic systems, to improve your septic system and to modernize it so that it's working efficiently. Those are things that can be done to maintain the quality of the lake.
Thank you, Jim. And Nate, over to you, sir.
I agree with Jim. I agreed with all of that.
All right. Thank you. Question 7. Please talk about the conflict between maintaining Preble's rural character and future economic development. And Nate, this one's to you first, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what we love about Preble. We love the open spaces and that feel that doesn't feel like any town USA. I mean, the mountains are beautiful, the lakes are beautiful. I don't think that that some more single family homes would detract from that in any way. I do think that windmills and solar panels do. I don't want those things in my backyard. I don't think anybody really does, other than maybe the landowner that's getting paid off. But and I don't blame them. I understand, like it's an easy way to make money. But I think that I would like to embrace families and jobs instead of windmills.
Thank you, Nate. And Jim, over to you.
Well, first of all, we have to read the zoning code. Preble has a zoning code. Not every town has zoning, but we do. And this was developed by people who were in charge of Preble many, many years ago, decades ago. They created a zoning code for the town where there's certain areas that can be developed for light industrial, which we know that's along 281, where Suitcote and Northeast Transformers are. We have a residential area, we have agricultural zoned areas, and we also have an R1L, which is residential lakefront zoning. And that's a separate zoning area than all the others. And each zoning area has specific rules and regulations, suggestions, and so on. And so these are areas that can be made to be enhanced in greater ways. But reading the comprehensive plan is the first thing to do.
Thank you, Jim. And question 8. What are your priorities for infrastructure improvements? And Jim, we're starting with you.
Well, I think we have to look at the assets that the town has for one. And I think that one of the greatest assets that this town has is Preble Park. That's 13 acres of land that is not really being used that much these days. And I know people walk down there. I walk my dog down there, and I meet other dog walkers down there. There are some pickup baseball games and softball games. There are picnics in the pavilion. The pavilion is used quite extensively, but it could be used more. I think the Preble Park is an underutilized asset for the town. And I think that can be developed in a greater way, and that can be used to suit many other people in whatever they want to accomplish in Preble for more residents.
Thank you, Jim. And Nate, your turn.
The first thing that comes to mind on the infrastructure would be broadband internet, and to the extent that there's parts of I'm not 100% sure if there's parts of the town that don't have that yet, but there is currently a new deal being proposed with Spectrum, and we don't collect any franchise taxes because it just gets passed on, which I don't want to do that either. But I think we could leverage that to improve the broadband access across the town, especially in 2025 when so many people are working from home. That would be, I mean, that's where the technology is going, and we should be encouraging that. Make sure everybody has access to that.
Great, thank you. Question 9. How will you fund those infrastructure priorities without overburdening, taxpayers? Nate, over to you.
The more people that are contributing, the less that is required from everyone, and that is the best way to keep taxes low. I mean, I'm extremely concerned about this drop off from the sales tax revenue, and that broadening the tax base, broadening the amount, increasing some increase in single family home construction, some increase in commercial investment is going to solve a lot of that problem. So that I refuse to accept that raising taxes on my family, friends, and neighbors is the only option. And I think that we just need to be open to all options.
Thank you. Jim, over to you.
Okay, so I just talked about Preble Park as being a major asset or an infrastructure of the town. And I asked some of the old timers when that park was developed and built back in the 70s, and they told me that it was a lot of volunteer work, that people volunteered to build structures, people volunteered to maybe cut grass or plant trees. We had a tree planting project about 11 years ago where we applied for a grant. It was called Spruce Up America, and we planted trees all around the park. And now, 11 years later, those trees are mature now, and they're growing very well. These are things that we can do to get people involved. Instead of raising taxes, we go for grants. We enlist people to volunteer for projects. We get people involved and get people to have a piece of ownership of the town. And so that's what I would suggest.
Thank you. Okay, question 10. How will you advocate for Preble with the county legislature? And Jim, first shot is yours.
Well, we have monthly board meetings, the second Monday of every month, and our legislator Kevin Fish comes to most of those board meetings, and he shares information with us that is going on on the legislature of Cortland County. And so he fills us in on that, on those goings on. He gives us handouts, gives us information to read, but all of us can go to those legislative meetings. Any resident of the town can get in their car and go to those meetings and listen to what's going on. And if you sign up early, you can even speak and suggest things for the county legislators. So my recommendation would be to get more involved with the county process of what goes on at the legislative table in Cortland County.
Thank you, Jim. And Nate, over to you.
Frankly, Jim has shown almost no interest in what the county thinks. He ignored the Cortland County legislators' recommendation. The county wants tourism. The county wants sales tax revenue. The county wants people visiting Cortland County. I want people visiting Cortland County. There are not good options for hotels around here. Short-term rental is an easy solution that allows people to pay the high taxes that they have to pay on the lake. And he banned them over the objection of the county. This is not this is simple. The county wants tourism. Preble wants tourism. We need tourism. We need the money from outside. Our population is dropping very fast. It's down 20% over the last 25 years. It's not sustainable. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Question 11. What are your ideas on how to build social and program connections between Preble and nearby communities? And Nate, this one is yours.
Social and program connections between Preble and nearby. Well, I think, to be honest with you, I haven't thought a lot about social and program connections between Preble. My first thought comes to mutual aid with the emergency services, and I think those things are in place. But I would take this opportunity to talk about the drastic, the very dangerous position that the Preble Fire Department is in, which I've been learning about in the last few weeks, and needs to be addressed. We have a serious budget problem with the fire department. They're understaffed, underfunded. Their trucks are so old they can't get insurance on them. And I think I could use some of my connections in the fire service to help solve that problem.
Thank you, Nate. Jim, over to you.
A number of years ago, we had a lady who was volunteering to do a summer youth program. And she used the park in the summer in the pavilion to have a summer youth program. And there were children that came in from other towns to participate in this. And she had quite a good program going. She went on field trips. She brought special people in for different projects for the kids to do. There was all kinds of recreation to do. It was a good program that she had, but she got burned out and she went in another direction. She moved out of the town. But I think, again, developing the park, developing the summer youth program, bringing in kids from other areas to help participate in that, that would all be good.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Question 12. How will you ensure transparency and accountability in town government? And Jim, this one's yours.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say that we are extremely transparent. In fact, I would have to say that we have more transparency today than we have had in many, many years on the Preble Town Board. Every single one of our meetings is filmed and put on YouTube. There's a video of it. We have a newsletter that goes out twice a year in the spring and in the fall. And in all of those newsletters, we put articles in about people in the town. We have interviews, and also the message from the supervisor that I write all the time at the bottom of my article. If you have any questions or comments, please call me. I give my phone number, I give my email, and I ask people to call me for their ideas. We are very transparent. We are very open. And some of these closed sessions that Nate talks about is simply not true.
Thank you, Jim. Nate, over to you, sir.
I'll read from my list of issues. A 2023 New York State audit revealed poor financial oversight and lack of accountability. I'd like to see independent audits of the books, and that everybody can understand where the money's going, where the money's coming from. And I'm not sure we're getting that right now. The other thing that I would like to change is I want to have regular weekly office hours where anybody can come in and discuss the future of the town. I think just having that accessibility and that comfort level. And sometimes you're just going to have to tell people, yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. But being able to listen and being able to, like I said, I love a good idea, and I'm always looking for the next great idea, the way to reinvent the wheel, and I'm happy to offer that to the residents, that I will have open office hours every week for anybody to come in.
Okay. Thank you, Nate. And this is the final question. What is your vision for economic growth in Preble? And Nate, we're going to start with you.
Well, thanks to Judge Burns, the short-term rentals are not going to be banned, which is great. And I'd like to see the focus of the town board be on growth. It's been a recurring theme tonight, but it's the recurring theme of what brought me into this race. It's the recurring theme of what brought the Preble United group together, and saying that we can do this better, and we're ready to give that a shot. So there's a good industry here that we can encourage, and to the extent that we can bring some new business in, that is going to be my focus. I want jobs here and people living here to support the town and all its goals.
Thank you, Nate. And Jim?
Preble is a great place to live. I've been here for 27 years, and I really do enjoy living here. I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else in my life. And Preble is a destination for so many people outside of this area. It's a destination for the arts. It's a destination for recreation. And what I mean by that is the arts. We have Cortland Repertory Theater here, where we have world-class summer stock theater in the summer. Recreation, we have Song Mountain. We have snowmobiling in the winter. We have Dwyer Park. And we have the lakes also that people enjoy. And people from outside of this area come here for those things. We have the hills. We have some hiking trails. We have a lot here that people want to come and experience. So for the next 5 years, I see developing that even more so.
Great. Thank you, Jim. Okay, it is now time for closing statements. Each of you will have 2 minutes to make your closing statement. And Nate, we are going to start with you.
Thank you. So, yeah, really, I think we can do better than we've been doing. And I don't dislike Jim. He's put himself up there. He's put an extraordinary amount of time and into being the town supervisor for 16 years. But I think new voices are ready to be heard and ready to stand up. I'm one of them. I'm very proud to be part of a huge team that thinks that we can do better. I'd like to point out that I am running with a team that includes current Democrat town board member Dave Pittman, current Democrat board member Dave Morse, Republican candidate Jeff Bordwell, Democratic town clerk Jen George. They're all supporting me. And I think it's important for people to realize the breadth of people that we're bringing to this campaign, and that they're ready for new voices and new energy. And I hope that the majority of Preble feels the same. I the STR issue brought us together. That was it. But the judge has decided that our group won on every count. There was 3 issues at bar, and all 3 went for us. And that is indicative of the poor management and poor leadership of the town recently. And I think that we're ready for a change. And I hope that I mean, we're going to find out in a couple of weeks, but I think we're ready for a change. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Jim, over to you.
Yes, our town is blessed to have a comprehensive plan. We're blessed to have a zoning code. We're blessed to have these documents that we can go to instead of being emotional, instead of being fanatical, instead of getting your information from Facebook and hearing the gossip of what's being circulated. We need to go to the core of what this town is and what the documents say. Now, if people don't like what's in the documents, feel free to elect somebody to change those documents. But do we have those documents right now? And those documents have to be adhered to. They have to be read and understood. And there are certain things in those documents that we have to understand, like zoning. There is zoning. There is such thing as R1L. As much as people want to disregard that and say there is no R1L, there is R1L. And the R1L states that those neighborhoods should be residential, single family, and no commercial. And when you realize that, when you can understand that concept, you can understand where the town board was coming from when they were doing the things that they were doing and trying to pass the law that they passed. Somebody from outside of Preble nixed the law, but that's okay. We can defer back to our zoning code and say single family residential, no commercial, R1L. It's very simple. And that we can enforce if we have to, and we probably will. So that is my final statement. Nate has spent a lot of time on short-term rentals, and we did talk about other things too, but that is my emphasis on short-term rentals.
Thank you very much, Jim. That brings us to an end to our forum for this evening. I would like to thank primarily the candidates for sharing their thoughts and their time with us this evening. And I would like to thank you all for joining us and sharing in this discussion. If you would like to learn more about this and other local races, as was mentioned at the beginning, you can check out the vote411.org website. Once you're there, you can put in your address and answer a couple of other questions, and it will give you a full ballot relevant to your address, and you can see candidates across multiple races. As was also mentioned at the beginning of this forum, this session has been recorded and will be available on the Cortland League of Women Voters YouTube channel in the next day or so. Thank you once again for joining us, and I hope you all have a very good evening.